Hey everybody, Tracy Brown here. My apologies, I'm starting to sweat already. It is so hot, it's ridiculous. So I got my water here beside me, so if I lean up to get it, that's what I'm getting. Whew. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just ridiculously hot and oppressive right now. But I'm getting around to this video. I've been promising. There's been this super sweet lady, who's been emailing me, and I'm so, if she's watching this, this is because of your persistence about intuitive eating and being a mother and pregnancy and post-pregnancy and keeping up and surviving and all the really difficult topics that go around with that, because your life is turned upside down. Now, for those of you who aren't mothers, who never plan to be, who it's been a long time since you've been one and you're out of that situation, this video is for you too, because the idea of being overly scheduled and overly burdened, I think that all people who experience any kind of feelings of overburdened and overwhelmed and doing too much will get a lot out of this video too. So, and honestly, that was me not that long ago. And I'm talking like probably within this last year that I finally have learned through a lot of, just a lot of work, how to get to this place of, even when I'm busy, not to get frazzled or overwhelmed, or knowing where that edge is. So I've done a lot of work on that, and I'm going to share some of that today. But anyway, I'm going to jump right in to directly talking to you moms. So you women who are pregnant, who are trying to have babies, who have little ones at home, either you just had one or they're still all really young. This video is because a person asked me, like, well, gosh, there's just so much pressure between, I'm going to break this down into categories because I think this is a hard one to think about, is when you are, I'll just say when you're first pregnant, is when you are pregnant, there's this, if you're in a good space with your body, it's a lot easier to let your body change, to feed it what it needs to feed it, because you know that you're literally supporting life for another human. And so it's I think it's a little easier, or a lot easier, for people to nurse themselves as much as they need to. But what I see happen is that as the pregnancy gets closer and your body's ending and toward the end, and as the realness of getting ready to have to take care of a human is coming, what I see happen to my clients as they near that end, they can already feel that old buzz start going of like, okay, so now what do I do with my food and my body now that this little person isn't in me anymore? And they can feel that pressure start building. It's like this little hum, this buzz, or this like heaviness and this oppression. And if you're feeling that way, first acknowledge that. First acknowledge that you can notice that. That's huge. And then secondly, recognize that that buzz and that fear is coming from expectations. Wherever you learn that from, that like, okay, since this baby's out, then either you can go back to what you were doing if you were struggling with dieting or any kind of disordered eating, you can go back to that. Or if you're like, I'm not going back to that, I'm not going to restrict, I'm going to be okay. But what you find is you're not going to get a lot of support from that. You're going to have people that are going to be in your business about how you should be eating and, what you're doing to take care of yourself, or as diet culture, what you're doing to change your body, to like have your old body back. And so I just want to give a really gentle nudge. Okay, you guys can hear the cicadas, right? A little nudge of a news flash for you. Your body is not the same. It's just not going to be the same. For some people, you go back to close to where you were. Some people, your body totally changes. And we still need to be taking care of these bodies just as lovingly as we did when we were pregnant. There's a lot of healing to be done. There's a lot of healing to be done. And if you're nursing, you're going to need a whole lot more food. You're going to feel hungry even with 3 meals and 3 snacks, and that's just the way it is. And if anybody tells you different, that you're eating too much, oh my goodness, you're eating so much, we've got to learn to put our mama bear, not hat, but recognize that like you've got a different life now. You are responsible for your care, for their care, and you, of course, need to be eating as much as you need to be eating to take care of your life and its life. Super important. And what usually ends up happening, and even what happened to me, is that we don't take enough time to rest. We don't take enough time or allow ourselves to be helped enough if it's available and possible. Eat enough nourishing meals, to take the naps we need to take. And your body's going to get worn out because there's such a demand on healing and the demands of that little babe, that it's really easy to get yourself really overwhelmed. Because if you're telling yourself your body's going to go back to the way it was, you got to hurry up and get back to work, and you need to like get it all back together, you're just putting really too big expectations on yourself, and it's going to cause a lot of stress and overwhelm, which is just going to ratchet up too high a nervous system activation state, which it's not good for you, not good for your kid. Your kid doesn't need to be feeling like that mom's stressed. You don't need to do that. There's enough to do. Okay, so if this little speech helps anybody, it's like, let it go. Your body's going to be what it needs to be. Eat well, nourish yourself fully. Don't watch all the Kardashian garbage about they're all wearing their waist-centered stuff and all the diets they're on after all these kids that they pop out. Don't pay no attention to that stuff. Pay no attention to anybody else and what they think that you should be doing. You need to be nourishing yourself so you can be fully present and as regulated as you can for your kid. That's what your only job is to be doing, to be honest. And I know that other things, you might have other kids, you might have other things going on. But to the moms that have been writing me lately about what about intuitive eating, being pregnant and after pregnancy you're going to have a higher needs, and that's good. Honor those, listen to those. This is the season of life you're in, and all the pressures outside of it have nothing to do with what your body needs. So this may be a reiteration of what you already know, but this is super important. You're going to need more food. If you're hungry and you just ate a snack, well, eat another snack. You need it. It needs to happen. What else I want to mention about this is that, let your body guide, like how soon you're ready to dive into any physical activity. Don't dive into activities you don't want to be doing. Because, I didn't do anything for probably much of anything the first year after my daughter was born. I was too tired, too sleep deprived, too hungry, and something had to give. I couldn't do it all. My first obligation was my daughter, and then secondly, to ease back into seeing my clients and and meeting my obligations to them. And that was it. It wasn't getting back on the elliptical and getting some kind of body back. No. Little walks with the little one in the stroller. That's about it for a really, really, really long time. And only because my body needed to be outside and to move a little, not because I felt this craving to get in there and be doing a bunch of stuff. And I know that we feel like we have this pressure to do it or to work out when they're sleeping. Well, if you have the energy for that and you have a true desire to do it, sure. But I certainly didn't. And I think if you talk to a lot of moms, there's not a genuine desire for that. We want to be in this stage of getting to know our new little human that's in our heart now, in our life, and going at the pace that our bodies need to go at. And so that's my instruction. Now, for those of you, and this is the next step, is that once your body's feeling better, I still want you to be doing, body-guided stuff. Movement. And this is for anybody who doesn't have a kid anymore, who doesn't have a little kid anymore, who has never had a kid, and, they're fully invested, let's say, in whatever's going on in their work life or other parts of their life. And what I see is, and this is the trap I fell into, I did pretty good when my daughter was little, but what started happening is I started feeling more energetic and better, and I made the mistake of believing that I could go back to working as long hours and seeing as many people as I did before I had a kid. And that's what tipped me into some, about a 2 to 3 year period of really bad exhaustion. And this is where I find a lot of people are after they've had kids, or even after they've just been in their careers a really long time, and they could be in their 30s or 40s or 50s, and they just hit a wall where they can barely function. They have no desire to move their bodies anymore, and the willpower just isn't working. Either their bodies are worn out, they're tired, they're wired but tired, And, this is what I work on in a lot of some of my work with clients and in some group programs I'm going to be rolling out here soon that are going to talk about this wired but tired state. And we're going to have to do some radical self-care around this. And a lot of it's going to be, you're going to have to give. And I know you all don't want to hear it, but you're going to have to give if you want to have a sense of contentment and peace in your life. Whether it's around food, whether it's around body, whether it's about coming around. And sometimes it's not always like you have to give up a bunch of activities. Sometimes it's like we've got to give our expectations in our brain. So it might be addressing your perfectionism. It might be addressing wounds around if people don't see you being the first one in, last one out of the office, and they might think that you're not trying to be successful and they won't value you as much. That might be the thing that needs to give. And so going back around to the mothers, it's that you're probably not going to be able to go back to for me, I was doing my own practice, working into other people's practices, commuting an hour plus one way, several days a week. Couldn't do that anymore with a kid. Something had to give, and I eventually had to start to give in these other places and reorganize my life and rest more and take naps for 3 hours a day for a year and a half plus every weekend and get more support and drop my pride and understand that's just where it needs to happen if I want to get back to some peace and contentment, and understand that that season's over. That season's over. And so I'm hoping this video is helpful for people who have, just feel really pressured by how they used to be or what they think they have to be to get approval, or for people to see them in a certain light. It's okay if you want to be a mom who doesn't care about getting back in the gym. That life might be over for you, or doesn't care about climbing the ladders vigorously anymore. That maybe you care more about your other priorities, and that's fine, and you can still do a good job. But maybe your body is saying something's got to switch. Either it's a mindset or it's a actual action, but something's going to have to give for my body to heal, for me to be more attuned to it again. In a more relational kind of way that's compassionate and caring, and to get the contentment we really want. So I'm hoping this video was helpful. I'm really passionate about this issue because I did it. And I kind of even knew better as I was doing certain things, and I had some really rough consequences that impacted my work and that impacted my family. And if I could save anybody, spare anybody from going too down the rabbit hole around that of trying to add more and more and more when there wasn't as much to give, and having to climb out of that hole. I know how to climb out of the hole. I know how to help people heal and climb out of those holes. But if I can help you not do that in the first place, then that will be, I think, an even extra, froze up a second, an extra service I can provide. So let me all know how you feel about this video, what's coming up for you. I think it's just really important to get more body-oriented to what your body needs you to do, even if it goes against all the cultural expectations about how clean your house is supposed to be, how much you're supposed to work, but especially your own expectations, because a lot of those things are just going to have to shift for you to heal your relationship with food and body, especially when you have had children, or you've just gotten this part in your life where you've just been pushing your entire life, and you're really just... your heart's not that much in it anymore, but you feel like it's hard to let it go. It's hard to let go of the constant working and going, and your body's saying no, but your brain can't let it go for all kinds of reasons. And so if you need help with that, let me know. I've been there. And so anyway, I hope you all are doing great. Talk to you real soon. And I'm actually going to link at the bottom of this thing, as I'm thinking about what would be the next step and what would be helpful. And we can chat about it. But also... my 6th series, I don't like to call it a meditation series. It's not really a meditation series. There's some in there, but they're honestly mostly nervous system regulators, where you learn how to shift from feeling frazzled to finding some spaces of calm. And the more you practice these things, the more you can regulate your nervous system even when you're stressed or things are really pushing you, but you don't have to go over the edge of being overwhelmed. That's what this whole series is for. If I had to label it and name it in a nutshell what it is. So I'll put the link down there if you're interested in looking more into it, what they're about. But they're essentially about how I can give myself a few minutes. We're talking, I think there's, like I said, there's 6 of them. I think they're all day, no less than 20 minutes, but most of them are less than 10. If you can give yourself that much, just to be able to notice some nuances and subtlety and get actually some more information from your body, and you can get some like pictures in your head about what needs to be shifted to feel better, that's what that series will do for you. So I'm hoping that was helpful. Take care. Bye.